Hi everybody. Today I would like to go ahead and make a new review of the latest build of Yandere simulator. Last time I went over that was last year, and it was around the summertime. And I think now that is January 1st, or actually January 2nd, 2016. Last build was yesterday. I wanted to go ahead and make an updated technical review of this build. So I'm going to go ahead and fire my game up. There has been a lot of changes since the time that I reviewed the last build, which was on the summertime, and I think this is a build that we can say that has a substantial amount of upgrades compared to what I reviewed 6 months ago. So let's go ahead and play. Game completion is at 13%. I believe the last time I reviewed it was at 9%. Okay, let's see if we can go
Yandere Simulator is supported by the following sponsors.
I believe the sponsors list increased. So we're gonna go ahead and go into the main menu. Our menus have not updated, but you can see now there's a chime during the times that during the date event whenever it changes, there's a chime. Here is me. I want to go ahead and go to school. Before we talked about anything of this, because this is brand new compared to the last build, let me go ahead and just go into main menu and reset the week. You know what, I'll just get a new game started. So I am going to go ahead and choose male because female has not been implemented. So here I'm going to change the hairstyles. You can see there's a more amount of hairstyles. I'm going to choose this one, and I'm going to put myself some, I don't know, some, whoops, wow, that looks, there you go. Turn back to black. Okay. Put my 90s glasses on, and I just say yes. Compared to the last build of, again, 6 months ago, you can see that we can change uniforms. And I'll put this one on. I'll say yes. And of course, this is the same as the last time.
Feel. Hey, do I know you?
You can see there's audio now in the background. Skip it over. Pretty much you guys have seen it before. There it goes our chime again. I'm gonna continue. So here is there's our selection of panties. Nothing special. Same pie shrine from builds ago. Let's see, computer, video game console. Everything as usual from the last 3 to 5 builds. You know, cork boards the same, nothing too special going on there. The town was actually revamped, so it's pretty cool. Music kind of changed as well. I am going to turn off the music so this does not talk over me. So I kind of like this new style of uniform. So where to start, really? Let me get out of Senpai's way. So basically this is our new model for the school. The school has about 50 rooms, I believe. And if you go over there, there's a new secret sacred garden here that you can go through here, and you can open, and there's a new assortment of tools. Some of them are not useful. Some of them are just, there's just one thing that's used right now is the circular saw. I'm thinking that there might be other things that are going to be implemented. And of course I'm going slowly because this is not one of those reviews where, and here's a little farm. This is not a consumer review. This is really a technical review, so this is more of a technical thing. Here are little flowers that look a little high poly. You can see there's a deep, you can kind of see there's deep detail, high graphic textures. That's one of the gardens, and then there's another model of the garden, and we'll talk about that in a second. The stadium. Here's our, our little bathroom, or bathhouse. But here's another garden. This one is the garden where you are. When Yandere Deb talked about additional features that he talked about features that we can go and scout for ourselves, and one of them is actually this one, which is you can actually go and find some manga magazines, not magazines, just manga books here. There should be some here, and yeah, there's one here you can just pick up. Again, this is a change from 6 months ago. We didn't have that, I believe, in the last build. I mean, the build from months ago. So and there's more stuff in here, but I'm not going to, I'm gonna get out of the maze, but they're here, so you can scout for them, and they give several abilities. When there's one over here, I guess I might as well just pick it up. They give several abilities, I believe, or strengths, except that if you have to read them at when you come back at the room, then, and here's another one, then you'll be an hour late for school, so you can't go to class, I believe, or you will just be late. Okay, so how do I get out of this? And you can see we're dropping at 11 frames per second because this is modeled in such a way where the drawing distances are, and here's another one, the drawing distances are just way out there, and I can pretty much see all the way over there from the other side of the building and school. That's what's dropping this, this frame rate. And I'm stuck inside here, but I'll get myself out. There's not a lot of texture clipping and graphics clipping, so things are modeled and things are shifted and pushed and are not optimized like that. That's really these things are, I can kind of look at this, and this is really high-end textures, and I have a GeForce card here, and it's not cutting it. So once I get out of here, hopefully. So we're averaging at 16 to 11 frames per second, so that's not very nice. It's not entirely right. I think there's a lot of graphical holes that could be taken care of, like drawing distances and clipping. If you have to do texture clipping, then do it. I mean, it doesn't rule out that just because we're in such heights of computing that you should not do texture clipping, and I believe you should really do that. And again, even if I put it in high settings, I should still be above maybe 30 frames per second minimal. So I am trying to get out of here. I don't know if I lose the progress on picking up the manga, but I guess the main purpose of this was to make it challenging. Although I don't think this garden fits in very well with the atmosphere. I think it should be cement walls rather than just cement wall and grass in the bottom, and maybe maybe make this tiled. I don't know. Maybe give it chairs. But this is not looking too appropriate for the the environment. And I guess I'm gonna go ahead and just reset because I'm not gonna be stuck doing this. There we go. So same weapons, same set of weaponry. Let me mute. The incinerator, I think compared to 6 months ago, the texture has changed. So let's see, there's really nothing different inside the bathhouse from the later builds, maybe November and to December. It's the same almost. I don't think there are differences here. There's a whole bunch of Easter eggs. Again, that's not too technical, so unless, if it's some technical weird thing, Easter egg, but I usually put it as an Easter egg anyways. But here are our effects. We have some fog effects, some fluff, I guess. Again, it's dropping it to the 15 frames, and not very well implemented. Well, it's well implemented, but it's not something. Again, the drawing distances here are just way too high. This thing is way too big. This thing here, this is way too big. This is our gymnasium here. You can see it's not, of course, it's not finished. So there's no. This is There's just too much graphic artifacts here. Do I think it looks better? I think so, but I think the last one kind of looked a little less cartoonish. But I think the way this is meant to be textured, and it's supposed to look cartoonish, so it has been revamped, at least from the inside. You can go in here and there are no steps or anything. There's no second floor you could go into compared to the last build 6 months ago. So again, more drawing artifacts. It's just the way it is for now. I think it would have been better if it's not in the middle of nowhere. And I'm dropping to 9 frames per second. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and start the tour inside the building. What I'm going to do is I am going to just quit, and I'm going to just put it into medium settings now that you can see. Now that you can see how it looks like in high settings. I'll just go ahead and just try it again. I'm not going to edit the video because I think it's appropriate to just not edit it and just go straight to it. I'll just say maybe I'll say good. I'll just do fast for now because I'm recording with my screen recorder, so I'm just gonna play. So I'll just get to it, and I'm using
Yandere Simulator is supported by the following sponsors.
I'm using a gamepad here, which is playing out nicely. I'm using the SteelSeries gamepad, which is like a legacy gamepad, very old gamepad. It's still being sold out in retail. If you are located in the U.S., you'll see it in the shelves. I just resumed the game. Go to Monday. So I believe this gamepad is X input, as they call it. This is what they used to use in the early 2000s, and it kind of works great. So that's working fine. Let's go to the town for a second, just to show how they revamped this. This is a new feature that was built after the summer build. You can see there's this texture. They revamped the whole thing. Oops. Yep, got stuck. Here's our menu. We lower that. Here's our menu for things like forward, reverse, turn. I believe the controls are a little awkward, but it's better than nothing. I think this is looking very well for town. I would have. Whoops. Nope. I don't want to turn on sticky keys. would have said that maybe they wouldn't have an open world, but just give it a singular path, maybe with some alternative paths. I don't think an open world will be suited at this pace of the game. So, but whatever he's trying to implement, I guess he's all for it. So, and then there's some dirt in there. There's supposed to be probably some water there, but if you go into the other side of the town, you'll see that there's water. He implemented water. You start seeing from here. Whoops. There's a hospital. I'm not entirely sure why. Maybe there will be something going on with it. That's really interesting, actually. Here's our water. I'm not entirely sure what happens if you just drop inside. Oh, just get respawn. There's our petrol station. Fuel pump in here. Is this Chevron? Yeah, that's Chevron. Wow, Chevron. There's a little shrine over there. I think this is going to be further upgraded. I'm not here to suggest features, but I think this will, you need to put a lot of life stuff in here, cars or moving objects, animals, whatever it is to make it more lively. And here I thought this was a little prison. I don't know, that looks a little like a prison. I'm not entirely sure. I thought it was like a subway at first. I don't know, like a train or something. But basic collisions applied. I mean, there's nothing too much to talk about. This is a level of its own. You can kind of see that if I press the / or X / I believe, there's no Easter menu or debug menu here, because this is a different scene. In Unity you have scenes, so this is a different scene that doesn't implement none of those features. Are not user-friendly. Using my gamepad, maybe I'll just use a mouse too. Let me just press triangle. So here I am back in school. So I'm just gonna up the volume a little. So the first thing is first, I guess I will say, and I'm up 28 frames per second now, which is very good. Speaking in terms of perspective, in terms of how everything looked like in the, I believe, July build, July build, when everything was just dry and there was nothing. This is a very good improvement. Students no longer just stand, they just sit down. The animations have been implemented for that, so that's a big plus. Should I go into the whole building? I guess. I mean, if you're still watching, then great. You can see this is another static object. Of course, it's animated, but you can't do anything with it. It's the same thing. It's just been reshifted onto this here. The whole building is different. You can see this legacy component or legacy asset is still there. Not entirely sure what you can do with it. You can see there's now a bar on the bottom. Looks a little better, more decent. Of course, I'm pretty sure you want me to go to the occult club. Oh, who doesn't, right? There's cooking club. There's new game assets here. You can see I can walk through. This is not solid. That's solid, but not the shares. Again, just little things, and not there. It's not bad. It's just pointing out, just for technical aspects. Everything was drawn here, textured, and it looks pretty nice and decent. There's an animation where I believe Kokona. That's a T-shirt. I don't know all the characters, but the thing opens, so it's kind of cool. There's a lot of more work in here in regards to graphics and 3D. I work solely in 3ds Max, so I do not work in Maja. Here's our empty room, and you can see that the masks that we saw 6 months ago have been shifted here, and the sole purpose of them was to actually, it was about clubs. So we didn't know what it was about, but now we know that he might have put the palette of masks here because it was a club. He just didn't talk about it. He didn't talk about that there was going to be an implementation of clubs. Correct me if I'm wrong, though. You can wear these little bizarre meme-looking gloves. They're kind of disturbing there in the corner. Occult Club. You can see here it is nicely textured with all these new models. There's a chair. I'm pretty interested about where does he get all these ideas from? Where is this all from? And there's our members. Here's our music. You can see it's pretty. You can see it's pretty metal, pretty industrial, like pretty metal, pretty occult music here. And you got this here. There's a little Easter egg secret where that thing will shine up at 5. The right eye will have a little effect, shining effect. It's very bizarre. And you can there's a bug problem where you can actually hear people from the martial arts club actually dressing. This is not part of the occult club. You can literally hear people up there dressing up. So that's a problem with audio range, where he didn't limit the range of audio of the sound effects. There's really not much to talk about other than, I mean, if I talked about whatever Yandere Deb said, is that you can join and you can do some pretty bizarre stuff here, and it'll give you strengths, again, powers, and all those type of bizarre things that I'm not going to talk about. So I'm going to just, you can see if I can, over here there's no music, but here there's music, so that music will stay there. Nice and neat. Close. You can see characters are now, again, more glitches. There's a glitch where things will just jam up like that. There's again, it has to do with paths. Paths are bug. I mean, they're glitched out. And it's also a problem because if this happens, then some events won't happen, which means that if the occult, I think the occult leaders here, I don't know where, but if this happens and if she's in this, then that means that she won't be able to reach the occult club, and it will not be able to trigger the event where you can join it. So that's a logical problem there, a very big one. But if you walk around here, you can kind of, there you go, it'll kind of do that, and they'll go back into their normal paths almost. Again, if you were looking at from the last update 6 months ago, you can see there's an Easter egg here. Just some weird reference. I mean, I read about it, but I mean, I'm not gonna I don't know about it really. I read about it, but I mean, it's just some weird reference. There's a lot of references to other games and stuff here. Too many to count. Speaking of references, there's more things in here for more Easter eggs. There's Cyrano. This is something, again, if you're looking from the last update from 6 months ago, there's Cyrano, Punch, Falcon. We'll talk about it in a few minutes. The thing you have to look at here is that projectiles are enabled. Things that shoot across are working now, so be mindful of that. More empty rooms. Class. I got a classroom here. Let's see what else I think there's probably more stuff in here. Bathrooms. Again, this looks a little. That looks a little. I don't know. I think if the game would look like this, it would be more appropriate. You can kind of see. This looks like, I don't know. This looks a little more appropriate. It looks shady. It looks a little three-dimensional, uncanny valley, pretty much. So, and you can see on top there's new textures. This was not like that before, I think. I would rather have the game look like this, you know. I think it looks more appropriate to have it pop like this, three-dimensionally. Bathroom. Surprise, there's no feces in there. Okay, turn it back on. You can see there's more graphics artifacts. You can see that the lightning, the way it's programmed, it's if you're here and if it's off everywhere else. Rather than the thing actually turning on outside. If it's off, it's off. Okay, more path problems. You can try to walk around. It might work. There you go. It's probably going to be fixed, unless it's intentional, which is bizarre. Open. Doesn't want to open. What is this here? Class 2-1. I think he should really have this in kanji script rather than just English, or have them texture in such a way that it's English in one side and then just maybe in kanji on the other side. Our soda machines have been moved here, and you can flush them out as much as you want, and I could go on here forever. You know, I can flood the whole thing and it won't crash. I've never ever had this crash before doing this, so it's kind of cool. So you can, if you're out there, you can keep doing this forever and it's not probably going to crash. I did have one crash just one time. For the longest time I played this, for almost 1.5 years, I had a crash this build one time, just one time, when it got to the school scene. What else to talk about? Well, hair rigs. When you can see the hair is moving, and it means that it's animated and rigged, or just animated. I can change my hairstyles, and they have added a more wide selection of hairstyles. You can see that on the wiki, no surprises. I like this one here, and you can kind of see that it's not collision detection is not done well yet. So again, it's early builds, still early. Let's see, for patches they have glasses, and what else they have for let's see, I'm trying to hit the right key. There is one Easter bug. Well, I guess Easter egg, like Easter bug, Bugs Bunny, rabbit. You get the idea. There's one bug where there's one Easter egg where you can wear new accessories. Here's a new accessory. I really like this one here. It's a little bowl. I was about to say that there's several bugs dealing with Easter eggs, and again, collision detection is not well implemented yet. And again, you can kind of see that they're sitting now. And I guess the teacher's gonna get me, but he's gonna say bye. You can kind of notice that if I remain there.
You're not one of my
Never
students.
mind. Yeah, it detects that I'm there. Oh, by the way, one of the hidden features that was removed was a where you could lift off, that's no longer available. Just press spacebar, and that's not available. These have collision detection, and I would strongly suggest not to have collision detection for these, because that's what lowers the performance, and I don't see why this should have collision detection unless you're throwing it. If you're throwing this at somebody, then it should have collision detection, but again, this can go on forever and ever and ever. I'm still surprised that it does not crash the game. The last time I did it was, I believe, in August, and I did it for almost 20 minutes, fast forwarding the time, and it did not crash. I think there should be some exception handling to that though, in terms of how many objects you can have bouncing around. And intruding, I have no idea why. Who knows here? What is this? English classroom. There's nothing in here. But it was programmed to again just make it seem like there's intrusion going on. Biology classroom, not club. Yeah, biology lab. Art. You can see here there's new assets. There's a little whiteboard, well, not whiteboard, chalkboard. There's this thing here. I'm not entirely sure. And you can kind of see if you zoom in, that's how modeling occurs. You have symmetry. You model one side and it appears on the other. And you can see there's a symmetry line there. That's how things are modeled. Just some trivia, I guess. I know myself because again I work with 3ds. I think I was interrupted somehow when I was going to talk about it. I work solely in 3ds Max. I do not work in Maja, and so I would have probably donated some assets very long time ago, but this game is made around the world of Maja, and I don't work in Maja. So the rationale for that is because one, if you're into game development, you're bound to be working in 3ds Max just like Rockstar is and has, and some other game developers do. So I don't necessarily work with Maja, or I mean I've tried Maja but I don't work with it, and I don't work with Blender. Again, I tried Blender but I don't work with Blender. So again, I'm part of the 3ds Max world. So please do not judge me. There's so many modeling tools out there you can work with, but then again, you gotta focus on just one when you're, want to make a nice income and you want to just focus on one tool. You gotta know them all, but at least you gotta know how to model, right? So focus on one tool. Again, our drawing distances are way out there. You can kind of start seeing that the drawing distances, the corner over there starts to fade. But again, this is way too large. This has to be somehow taken care of. Compared to the last build, I mean, there's a lot more going on. There's a character over there, so there's more than 10 new characters, and the last build had another 20. I don't know. There's a lot of them here. Bench, more manga, anime. I guess we can go into the. I guess we can try out the club functions, and maybe I'll try. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I should try the martial arts, because the occult club. I mean, just try it yourself. It's one hell of a bizarre episode. Pastime to 5, because you need to. Again, see, one of the problems with the paths, the character paths, is that if they get stuck and glitch out, they will never ever be able to. You will never be able to trigger the event where you can join the club, because the club leader doesn't make it to the room. So you have a logic problem. that's how problematic bugs are. Where if you have one bug, and you can kind of see there's some effect. One of the problems is that you have a bug and it has a logical problem like that, like I just mentioned. It's going to build up, and it's going to start making more trouble around the game where the code, and especially with code where if you don't code something right, it starts to build up, and you screw up somewhere, it's gonna screw up somewhere else, and then you have a big logic problem. Again, I'm surprised that this has not crashed. Again, with collision detection, there's no exception handling, at least as we saw with the sodas, so I don't know. Again, that's fundamental, but again, we're still in early builds. I'm gonna speed this up a little. What else is there to talk about? Well, other than the glitches, if I turn on, I don't remember how to turn on Yandere vision. Let's see. Whoops. No. I'm using a legacy controller here, so it's kind of hard to trigger things. Let's see. How do I turn on Yandere? There you go. If you look down, let's see. If you look down, you can kind of see the garden there, and I guess if you look in the other side. But anyway, they're here, not dead. But if you go down, teleport back, and actually I pressed the wrong key. Darn it. Well, now that I'm here, if you turn on Yandere vision. Let's see how. There you go. There is over there. Where the door is, the left door. As you can see, there's a character hidden down there, and I would agree with the wiki that that character or that object down there. Let me get close to it. Unless, yeah, there. Gosh. Yeah, you can see that thing over there. That thing is laying down there near the locker. Not her, Dad. You can see it, Dad too. It's like on GTA 3 where you used to have the cursor CD where the beginning. Whoops. No, don't get away from me.
Her?
No, not. Like cursor CD where the beginning of the scene when you first played Grand Theft Auto 3, there was a ghost town, so you didn't have access to that as a gamer, unless you, of course, found your way with mods and pretty much if you go into that place, it's a scene that was set up. It was a place in the map that was solely set up for the purpose of the beginning, the start, when you go and start the game. So, and our tapes are back. Well, they've been there. They're just, shuffled around. So you have places in games where you're not supposed to access, and they will have additional things like non-collisioned maps, like sections where you could watch and see the map. Like if you glitch out the game and you were to go to that part of the game where you're not supposed to go, then you would see Carcer City, for example. That's not solid because it wasn't meant to be, playable. So that's what I'm trying to say, is that he plays a character there so nobody would go out and sneak out and touch it, I guess. So not to touch the game assets. So where's our Yandere? Can you see? Yeah, I think you can see it. Yeah, it's over there. That thing over there. Yeah, that game asset is out of reach, so you don't disturb it. So when you go into the laptop computer and watch, you don't glitch it out pretty much. Again, non-accessible game objects and game assets that you're not supposed to touch, at least as the gamer. Okay, so I was going to go ahead and forward the time again. can't forward to 5:59 because then the game will just quit. So, okay. Past time. Back to the future. To 5:07. Well, 4:57. 4:50, so I can get a chance to browse building. I don't know all the places on here, so I do, but I just, you just have to walk through it. There's our maze over there. And I think I really like the design of the windows, and it's better to leave them opaque rather than translucent. Again, your frame rate will drop again if you have transparency or translucency. So what else is there to talk about? I'm not entirely sure. Skybox, as I showed in one of the other previous videos, you can lift off and go straight up. Cameras are clipping through. You can see the underwear and everything. It's clipping through. It's not proven right yet. I wonder what kind of font is that. It's probably one of those Lumias. I have a Windows phone myself. Okay, let's fast forward. There you go. Again, there's really not much I myself can talk about that feature-wise, because everything's being talked about everywhere, so I don't want to be repetitive about it. One of the things about the club sale is that he mentioned that if you leave the club and never go back again, then that means you can't go back, and that means you can't accomplish the strengths or skills that you can be offered by the clubs. And that pretty much means that you're stuck out, and then there's logic, well, not a logic error, but it's just that you can't accomplish several things. So I'm kind of getting the feeling this is a game that is supposed to be cycled through, which means that if it's supposed to be 5 days. So I am guessing that you can try out several outcomes. So that is why you can get kicked out of the clubs and never come back, because if you do, then it doesn't matter, because you can just reboot the whole game and do it again. So this is supposed to be repetitive. It's supposed to be where you reach Friday, and if Friday is not done, then you lose and you just try again. Kind of like an arcade style, I guess. Just going through time. Cherry Tree Secret is not there anymore, where you used to be able to like just walk in and your outfit would turn red. When you take a picture and you see the ghost, just like, again, I don't think you'll be surprised, because you probably heard about it before, so I'm not going to explain it. Not because I don't want to, just because I don't want to become repetitive. The ghost has been shifted to one of the restrooms. Somewhere, someplace. So, and you can notice we're dropping to a juicy 8 frames per second on a dedicated graphics card. In terms of the atmosphere music, I believe the way this was coded was lowering the pitch. Oh no. There you go. 5. No. Why is this going forward? There you go. This is going forward. I meant it to stop the... I'll just reset again. Do we crash now? Okay. Well, just to show the fact, I want to show the club feature, but I'm having a hard time getting to 5 o'clock. Change atmosphere. If I change it, the music it's probably the same music track, but the pitch is slowed. And there's a way to accomplish that on Unity, where you can just simply just lower the pitch and it'll just sound different. There's no separate soundtrack here. Or maybe it is. You can see you can hear another instrument, but it's lowering the pitch, slowing it down, resampling. I think that could have been worked on a little better, maybe include another music track, but that's just me. I'm going to reset the atmosphere, and we'll leave it as with the club feature, and it's pretty much what I'll talk about. Maybe I'll make a second video, but again, everything else has been talked about. Reset, just to, there you go, to change the atmosphere. Did I change the clock correctly? I think there should be a night feature where you can just sneak back, but that's just wishful thinking on my part. Okay, just, let it happen. You can see there's just so many more students. I think there should be more though, just to make it a little more realistic, I guess. You can see the clock head actually works. I'm gonna speed it up a little more. Again, you can skip through the video, and I'm not going to edit because again I have a lot of other work to do in terms of things. What else to talk about? I watched a popular video and there's a glitch or Easter egg where I'm not entirely sure if it's true or not, where you can actually see game assets of police characters. If you just freeze the time at the end, and if you just freeze the time right, then you can actually take a picture of it. So I guess Yandere Dad was actually working on that already, but he just didn't talk about it because again, there's just stuff in here that he can talk about because they're not finished, they're not ready. But they are, I truly believe there are a lot of things in here that if I were to reverse engineer and open up, there's many things in here that you can see and look at, including I guess game assets and code and a whole bunch of things, but I don't have time for that. And I really think this weapon set of weaponry should be in the shed. This has one of the things that have not changed since the very first build, or I guess the early build, is this, just having it there. I guess they're there because they serve a specific purpose and they're supposed to be placed in a specific place. So, and he never implemented it yet. Implemented that, so maybe the sword's supposed to be in some type of club. Even if he was, I don't know if he was thinking about clubs that early on, 2 years ago. The box cutter, that's supposed to be somewhere. Again, these game assets are scattered all over the place, and it kind of give us a, it kind of, I don't know, make us feel like we should inference about a lot of things that he might have on his mind. I wish I could stop the time here. I should have done that way earlier. Occult Club. Just want to check it out and see if the characters did follow their paths and did not get stuck. Cooking. There's supposed to be a whole bunch of little girls in there drinking tea, I guess. Cake. Again, here's our diabolic music. It's just that you have to stand in the star in order to make it happen. And you can hear the characters dressing up. And our club leader, oh, there's a club leader. I guess I'll try this with the club leader. Let her walk. Cool, okay. Let me up the volume. Talk.
Hi.
I honestly gotta say, she's really adorable.
We are devoted to the research of supernatural and paranormal phenomena.
Yeah, I guess.
Witches,
you know,
ghosts,
yeah,
vampires, demons,
yeah,
aliens,
yeah.
psychics, and time travelers are all welcome here. Anyone
Yeah.
who joins our club will develop a resistance to horrific and terrifying things.
Yeah,
Or succumb to them.
yeah, all those type of things. Yeah, well, okay, I'll join, I guess.
You actually want to join?
Yes. So here's the new menu system, the Occult Club. If this music, diabolic music, does not come over me. The Occult Club. If you join the Occult Club, your sanity will deplete at 50% of the normal rate, and your students will take longer to notice you. So again, logic problem. If this character does not take the path, this cannot trigger, this cannot happen. This is how code works. Mess up somewhere, it's gonna build up. So I would like to accept, just because she's cute, I'll just
This
accept.
is wonderful news.
Yeah.
Perhaps the world isn't such a dark and lonely place after all.
Of course not.
Anyway,
Get to the point.
you're an official member now.
Yeah. So we're supposed to actually, now that that's done, we're actually supposed to summon the demons, I believe, or I'm not entirely sure what the culture is. Again, I'm wondering where he got this idea from. This is just plain weird in a very cool way, but again, I just wonder where this is from. This is not typical of a school environment. In a way, this is really cool. It's just this is just strikes me. All of this here, where did he come up with that? Maybe we'll interview Yandere there one day. Who knows? Skype. So pretty much we are supposed to have an activity happening where we are going to summon the demons.
Hi.
Hi, babe. Wanna do something? Activity club.
The moon is not in position yet. Come back between 5 and 5:30.
Of course, we gotta have the diabolic music. Also, if you notice, if I turn on M, if I press M, the music is back on. But this is not off, and that's because again, this is an ambient sound event. When you cross here, there you go. It just turns off and just turn it back on. This is ambience. So when you start developing for Unity, you'll get to know the functionality. Anyway, so I'm gonna just forward time a little to 5 when the so-called moon is aligned. Again, this is just bizarre. Wonder where he gets the idea from. It's really cool, but at the same time, it's not. Maybe it is completely. It's just this is just weird. It's just not. It's weird in the school environment. Okay, well we're at 55. There you go. So the moons should be aligned. Okay, let's trigger that event.
Hi.
Hi.
We're going to attempt to summon a demon again. Will you help us?
Yeah, yes. Again, a cold club. Club activities last until 6. If you choose to participate in club activities now, the day will end. If you don't join by 5:30, you won't be able to participate in club activities. Again, if this character does not make it, this doesn't trigger. So the game is logically broken just by this stupid path bug. See how a little thing can just snowball into a huge thing? Anyway, if you don't join by 5:30, you won't be able to participate in club activities today. If you don't participate in club activities at least once a week, you'll be removed from the club. Again, the event doesn't trigger, you're screwed. Alright, here we go.
Excellent.
Yeah,
I hope it works this time.
well, I hope too. And again, this is just plain weird. You know, cult club attempts to summon a demon they do not succeed. They're all covered up. I don't know, man. It's just plain weird. At first I thought this was actually people burning, like burnt ash. I don't know how to explain it. Like I was thinking these were burned people, like ash. Again, this is just weird. So continue our end, and then the day ends, and our music continues. You can see there's another graphics artifact here. I guess lights are turned off. Maybe that's not a graphics artifact, but there are supposed to be lights here. I guess there's not much else to talk about other than you can read manga, and since I reset my progress, that's why I was so hesitant on doing it. It doesn't show here. But again, this uncanny valley thing, this is the way the game should render. It just gives that random uncanny valley effect, and it looks really good. Doesn't look as flat either. This is static. There's nothing going on here. This is just a texture. So I'm going to end it here. And if we wanted to compare it to the 6 months ago build, I guess I'll go to the basement. More music. Here's our torture share, which again, I'm not going to talk about those features because they were already talked about. And there's taping here. Now that I didn't know about. There's a taping here. It's a little strange. You would think there's a tape in school only. Don't know what that's about. What is this here? Another tape? More tapes. That's actually new. I didn't know. So I guess I'm going to leave it here. I'm going to just go back in front, upstairs. And that's it. Of course, there's video games. Maybe I'll go into that. Oh, why not?
Yandere, Senpai of the Night.
Yeah. And of course, there's sounds. See, these are good animations. These are, good graphics. Credits are kind of interesting because, there's programming, animation, music, illustrations, help bar, artwork, all those things. Environment models and textures. It's really interesting. I personally do not believe this should have been a priority in the first place. It's like playing Grand Theft Auto. It's like playing Grand Theft Auto San Andreas and coding the arcade games part first and not implementing anything else. Because again, if you remember back, if you go as far as back as the San Andreas, you have mini games and things like that. And you don't code those things in the beginning unless it would beneficially affect the game or something. So I think that's all I will talk about. I'm going to go ahead and, if you notice, you can't quit here. So I'm just gonna go to sleep. Can't quit. Yeah, I can't quit from here. I say continue. I'll go to school. You can't also exit from the town. Again, these are different scenes that have different functionality to them. I'm going to go ahead to quit the main menu and just go ahead and exit. And this has been the technical preview and review of Yandere Simulator. January 1st. I hope you like my long review, and I am hoping that I'll continue to review more builds and maybe keep looking at more technical aspects, and maybe I'll make another video about technical aspects of this build. But I hope everyone liked this video, and thanks for watching, and I hope you stand it all the way until the end. Thanks a lot.